K-Rock Mid-Atlantic Rock Reviews here at Island Bay Days, and I've got some legendary musicians here. I got Kelly Bell and Alex from the Kelly Bell Band. Guys, thanks for talking to us.
How you doing?
So we watched you guys kill it again. We just saw you at Charm City Music Festival. Can you tell us a little bit about that day? What that was like for you?
Charm City?
Yeah,
oh, man, it's like a reunion, man. It was being there with Almighty Senators and Job Works. I mean, we all kind of came up together, man. Those cats kind of helped us break out of being in small blues clubs and playing these big rock shows, you know, and now we're like brothers. So it was, you know, Job Works was on one stage, and then we were on the other stage, and then the Almighty Senators, and I had to run from one side because I recorded with the Almighty Senators. They recorded with us. We've all recorded with each other, honestly. And I had to run backstage and get all the way around the festival. And I was supposed to be on like the third song. So literally, I'm running up to the back of the stage, and they're going, "Kelly, come on, you're next." And I'm going, all right, I'm coming. I can't run this so fast.
And they had a crowd running with them. We were there covering that. You guys packed it, man. I mean, there were people bumper to bumper. And then Alex was there. Alex, how long you been in the band, man?
I've been in the band for about a month.
Only a month?
Permanently, yeah. I mean, I was
permanently.
In the group as an adjunct member,
right?
You know, before.
Alex is out. He'd been writing with us and all this other stuff, and he was like getting his masters and stuff like that. So now he's full time, and Alex is our musical director.
Now Alex is a sax player. I didn't notice you playing during the Sabbath song. Is that just normal that the sax solo doesn't come in during the Sabbath?
Well, so I think in an effort to be true to the original recording, decided to leave it out.
And I'm a big metalhead.
Too much energy there.
Right. I hate for Ozzy to show up and punch me in my face, or for Ronnie James Dio to look down and get mad at me. You know?
If you haven't seen Kelly Bell, man, Kelly's entertaining on stage. He had the crowd laughing out there.
Running with my baby. I'm from the FBI. Running with my baby. I'm from the FBI. Singing the trouble for the trouble, and she got me running for my life. You better to the left back row. I know my mama told me better to the left back row. Now the road is on the train, and I can never go back home. Running with my baby, I'm from the FBI.
Now tell us about today. Have you played this festival before? Is this your first time here?
Yeah, we played it last year. I think this is the second annual. So we played it last year. It was at a different location, but I kind of like the vibe that they got going on here, man. To be here with people like Laughing Colors. When we first started out, man, Laughing Colors was the first rock band ever, really. And they, of course, had a ridiculous following. And they were like, "Man, you guys are great. Come play with us." And I'm like, "Really, dude? You want a blues band to come play this big rock show with you?" Like the old Hammerjacks, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would have us.
They're
come and
here.
play that.
Hammerjacks is coming back.
They're starting it again.
There's a booth actually here at Island Bay Days. That's hard to say.
It is kind of hard to say.
They want to
Island Bay Days.
We want an easier name next year. Now,
and just stick around, because like in about 5 hours, it's going to be a lot harder to say.
You did a song up there I thought was pretty special, and you recorded that on a military base or about a military base?
We finished writing that. We did what's called the Tiger Cruise on the USS John C. Stennis. And a Tiger Cruise is kind of like bring your family to work week. Now, obviously, you can't bring a spouse, something like that, you know.
Right.
But you can bring like your uncle or a cousin or something like that. Your spouse can go, but your spouse can go on a different ship.
Okay. Yeah.
So we had a lot of those experiences, man. And so they'll fly a couple of acts on and off, which would have been great just to be able to do that, you know, to land on an aircraft carrier. But the truth is, we said to them, you know, we want to be the first band that just does the whole thing. So they flew us to Pearl Harbor, which was surreal enough as it is. And then we got on board, and the next day we sailed all the way to San Diego for 8 days. And we just did 6 different shows rather than flying. They usually fly 2 acts on, and they get 2 shows. I said, if you put us on there, we'll play every day we're there, every day you want. So we did an acoustic show. We judged the talent competition, and we took all the winners, which they didn't know we were going to do. We took all the winners of the talent competition, and we split them up, and they played with us every night.
Awesome.
So it was crazy. A lot of talented sailors.
And that is so great what you're doing for the military. And every time I've seen you guys play live, you recognize them publicly. People who serve the military, so that's awesome.
We did on Tiger Cruise on the USS John C. Stennis. A young girl was listening to us rehearse. She worked in the office as mess, and she was rolling silverware. She came up to us and she said, "Play that song tonight." And we were playing the song "Don't Go," which is on our new CD. And we said, "This song's not ready. We're still writing it." She's like, "No, you have to play that tonight." And she explained some things to us that we didn't know. She said, and when you're on a naval ship, you can be in a relationship, but you can't have relations. Right, and I didn't know that. Yeah. I'm thinking, wow, you're at sea for 9 months with somebody you love, and if you get caught touching them, you can get court-martialed. Like, it's serious. Yeah, it's real serious. Yeah. So, she was explaining to us that the guy that she was in love with, which is also on the ship, he was being restationed when we got to San Diego. And they were in a process. They had 8 days to figure out whether they were going to keep trying to perpetuate the relationship or whether they were going to go apart. And it was hard because, like, do we enjoy the last 8 days? Do we think about moving forward? Should we say, okay, it's over in 8 days, but let's have these crazy 8 days that we can together?
Right.
What they're allowed to do that is. And she told us this whole story, so we said, okay, we'll play that song tonight. So it was unfinished, but unpolished. It was finished and unpolished. Sure. So we did kind of a raw version of it, and it went over crazy. And people were in the audience were crying. Okay, so this lady comes up to me with tears in her eyes, and she says, my husband is an XO. Obviously, he's not on this ship because we can't be on this ship, but I'm meeting him in San Diego. And I was to meet him because this was his last tour. He found out, right? I was already on this ship when he found out he's being re-stationed and he's not allowed to retire. He was retiring. And the Navy stepped in and said, we need you for another tour. That's another year at sea. So here's a woman that's been married to her husband for 29 years, and she's ready to be done. And the Navy said, we still need you. And of course he said yes, because that's what they do. That's what they do for us. And so she had tears in her eyes, and she said, I just wanted you to know how much that song Don't Go means to me. Because I've done this with him 29 times. And I'm doing it one more time right now, and I didn't even know I was doing it. And she said, you have to play that song tomorrow night. Now, we were determined that we weren't going to repeat any songs and play 6 different shows. So, of course, we had to repeat that song for her. So we're doing that song, and I have a cordless mic. I saw her sitting in the audience and crying. Wow. So I walked down off the stage, and I grabbed a chair, and I sat it right in front of her. And she sat in front of me, and I held her hand, and we both cried the whole time. When I made my way back to the stage towards the end of the song, I'm looking in the crowd, and there's 8, 10, 12 couples standing up dancing. And they're not couples, of course. They're grandparents and grandchildren. There's mothers and sons. Now what I didn't know was you cannot dance on the hangar bay. Especially in uniform, you get in trouble for that. And these kids were like, it didn't matter at this point. For some reason, that song hit them, and it didn't matter. They knew they were going to get in trouble because their officers were standing all around in a semicircle around them, and they didn't care. So they stood up and they're dancing with their grandmother or their, whatever. It was amazing to see this. So after the end of the show, this lady comes up to me and she says, I just want you to know my son is a sailor here on the ship, and that song meant so much to me because his whole life I've been trying to get him to dance with me ever since he was a little pup. She said, and she wanted to get him into any. She said he would never ever do it. She said, for some reason, when you played that song tonight, my son stood up and said, hey mom, dance with me. I looked at him like he was crazy because my son is 22 years old. He has never danced with me. So I was like, that's incredible. So my mind is all blown and everything. Your camera lady is crying here.
Well, it's a real deal, man.
This is an absolute true story.
This is not. Yeah.
So she said, you have to play that song again tomorrow night. And I said, oh my God, like this is every night we're gonna end up playing the song. I'm like, okay. I'm like, how can you say no to that? So she walks away. 10 minutes later, the son comes up and he says to me, hey, you know what? I never knew what it meant to my mother to dance with me. My whole life I told her no. I just never knew what a big deal was. And she cried when I danced with her. He said, will you guys play that song tomorrow night? Because I'm supposed to be on watch. I'm getting someone to cover my shift. I'm going to come and surprise my mom, and I'm going to ask her to dance. And I said, that's awesome. He said, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to bring her up on stage and dance with her so everybody could see. And I looked at him, and I'm choking back tears now just thinking about it.
The power.
And I said,
seeing your own music have that kind of power.
It was incredible. We've never written a song that was so powerful all of a sudden. And I said, and I guess I'm glad I'm wearing shades too, so you can see I'm not all well enough just thinking about it. And I've told this story before, and it still hits me the same way every time. So he showed up, and I was talking about telling the story from the stage, and I had the lady stand up. And I said, what you don't know, I said, look behind you. And then he popped up like, whack-a-sailor or something, He like, boop. And he was like, hi, Mom. And she was flabbergasted because she didn't expect to see him. He grabbed her by the hand, came up on stage, and we put them front and center. And they danced, and everybody in the band cried the whole time. Everybody in the audience cried. Before we were done, 70% of the audience was standing up. And I'm like, they can't put everybody in the brig.
The shit's not big enough for that.
Oh, and I was in there. Believe me, it's not. and it's
we're not
funny.
Gonna cover that.
No, we're not gonna cover that part. But it was you get bread and water for 20 minutes 3 times a day. That's it. That's it. That's the absolute truth. That's how it works. For however long you're in there. Yeah, it's not exactly the most nutritional thing.
This is the Kelly Bell Band. Should Have Been You. If you want to hear the great song with the story behind it, it's right here on this CD. It's Don't Go. It's the 4th track right on this CD here. Where can folks find this?
You can go to iTunes, CD Baby. You can go to our website, kellybellband.com or fatblues.com, PHAT, or definitely hit us up on Facebook. That would be awesome.
We heard it live today, so you guys got to go check this band out. These guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again to all you veterans. Appreciate you.
Sometimes my mind stays with you for no reason, no rhyme. And sometimes I wish I would hurt the way that you do. I make mistakes, baby.